talk about our summer courses for approximately 30 minutes. So if you are interested in summer courses in London, in the arts design, then this is a session for you. We're going to have people joining all over the world. We're going to record this session and you can have the copy sent to you. Your camera and microphone are turned off for the session, but you can pop any questions or any thoughts or comments in the chat, and we'll have a question and answer session at the end. And you can really, you can say any thoughts at all, any questions. It could be about London, about the courses, about accommodation, whatever you need. We're here for you. So we're going to cover our summer programs, talk about the basics, the course dates, fees, student engagement, student voices, how to apply. And I'm your host, Ashley Palmer. So I work in UAL in the study abroad department, but also really luckily, we are joined by Kiara from the Philippines, who is our Summer Study Abroad Award winner, and hopefully can be joining us later to give her feedback, hear the student voice. What was it like to come over from the Philippines over to London, join our 3-week courses? So that'll be interesting to hear a different voice to mine as well. So as I said, it's going to be about 30 minutes. We'll try and keep it concise and interesting for you. We are UAL. We are proud to be nominated at the second globally ranked by QS World University rankings for arts and design. So it's a very good level of courses that you are joining. And this is a nice quote from former Chancellor, that UAL is the world's biggest factory for making trouble, meaning that we see ourselves as disruptors. We see ourselves as education institution that challenges industry and the normal way of doing things. UAL is 6 colleges as well as institutes. So the colleges that UAL is Camberwell College of Arts, Central St Martin's, Chelsea College of Arts, London College of Communication, London College of Fashion, and Wimbledon College of Arts. These colleges have been around for 150 years and have formed part of UAL. UAL is one of the largest, or the largest institution that's specialized in creative subjects in the world. So really it's a big network for you to join during semester or during summer. We're going to talk about summer in these slides. We're in London. This is an illustration of London. You've got the River Thames and the various colleges. So we're mostly in zones 1 and 2. Wimbledon, which is further away, is in zone 6. So you're in a pretty much central location in London, in and amongst all of the happening things that you would see during summer. So these are course dates. We've got 3-week courses and we've got 8-week courses. So 3-week courses next summer are in 30th of June to the 17th of July. They're Monday to Thursday. So Friday is like an open day where you can come in and use the studios or do different things working on your projects. So the taught days are Monday to Thursday. The application deadline is the 12th of May. So you've got loads of time. Yes. Looking out the window, it's kind of cold here. It's funny to think about summer, but it's going to come around quickly. So the best thing to do is, to arrange your plans early, because you can organize your accommodation, you can organize your flights, and you can get space on the course. Some of these courses do book up quite early. So things like, across, actually, we had a lot of courses booking up last summer. So you can see courses like art history, criticism, communication, or courses in contemporary fine art practice. We have a new course in creative computing, and this is at our Creative Computing Institute. So it's a course that's interesting for artists and designers to learn more about coding and creative computing. It's not just on the technical side as well, it's sort of experimental course. And we have courses in photography, and as you can see, quite a few courses around fashion, in knitwear. Also fashion business is really popular, interior design, product design, textile design. These are taught by our academics. So these are taught by our best faculty and bringing in technicians from the degree course, undergraduate level, and it's for undergraduate students. And we've got the fees, we've got all the information which is on our website, and it's actually ready to book on our website as well. We'll talk about the application process in a bit. So we have more 3-week courses that run after the last set. So we have 5 courses. We have 1 course in advanced fashion design. This is really one of the only courses that we look for a portfolio. So if you're interested in this advanced fashion design 3 weeks, it's a hardworking, it's a course that will push students a lot. It's at a higher level in fashion design, and students are required to submit a portfolio to be selected onto the course. And we'll talk about application later, but most of the other courses, or pretty much all of the other courses, don't require portfolio. It's the entry is pretty straightforward to apply. And you can see that the fees are £2,500. That's tuition fee for 3-week courses. The fee is more for the advanced fashion design course, where they use more materials. Yeah, so we've got this. I'm just going to recap. This is our courses for the first part of July, and this are courses for the second part of July. And then these are 8-week courses. So these are intensive courses, 8 weeks in Introduction to Fashion Design, Introduction to Fashion Business, and Introduction to Footwear at the London College of Fashion. This is the leading and largest institution for fashion. Amazing resources in a new campus in East London. Just excellent facilities, super strong on things like footwear, as well as all sorts of accessories, a large fashion business school, and then fashion design. So we're taking the best of the college and delivering this over 8 weeks in summer. So a few slides on student engagement. So we have different events for students. We run a welcome event, which is a lot of fun for students, basically to get to know each other. Part of your experience of coming over to London isn't only the study, it's also the friends that you meet from all over the world. It's a great network, really, especially in summer in London. You really get everyone coming over. It's very diverse. You meet people from Europe, from Latin America, from Asia, from Philippines, from US, from all over. So we have the welcome session. We also have a graduation party at London College of Fashion, which is the last day of the course, and that's really a lot of fun as well. And to celebrate the hard work that the students do, I mean, the outputs are amazing. So really strong courses, and 8 weeks and 3 weeks. And more events that we have. We also have an exhibition on the last day of the 3-week courses, and a fashion show. And the fashion show is kind of like it's like an interpretation of the fashion show that we do on the undergraduate BA fashion course at Central St Martin's, where fashion students work with the communication students to put together a show. So yeah, it's kind of fun. It's a smaller scale, but we invite people over from from staff, some from industry, other students, to take part and enjoy and celebrate the work of the students on the last day. So we're going to get on to student voices and talk through some of this. And actually, at this point, I believe I'm introducing Chiara, who joins from the Philippines, and Claudia, who's helping on the technical side, will be able to move on to the next. Is this the last slide? I think so. I think I'm handing over to Chiara. Is that right, Claudia?
Yes.
Perfect. So just to introduce again, I mentioned Chiara. Well, we're super lucky, and thanks so much for joining our session. We're super lucky to have Chiara, who is one of our award winners, came over from Philippines, studied with us, experienced London. I would say has an interesting perspective on what that journey's like. So this is a chance to hear from Chiara, and then also, is this a chance for you really to ask someone who's directly done this, not someone like me that's working here, and to ask any questions. So thanks again, Chiara, and I will hand over to you, or Claudia will hand over to you. Hi, Chiara. We can't hear you yet, but we can see you. No worries, no worries. Can't hear you yet. I can see you though.
We're having technical difficulties. Do you want to log out and log back in? Try and see if that works.
It might be something like the settings on the computer, right? So as Chiara's kind of doing that, switching on, switching off and on again, yeah, I can talk a bit more about summer courses. We're in a, or we could actually look at the chat. Maybe let's look at the chat. I think this chat is for moderators only. Oh, that's Seyon. All right. Let's have a look. Just wondering, Claudia, can our guests put things into the chat? Hey, quiet. I can hear you. Yeah, yeah. Bit quiet, but we can hear you now, and we can
Hello?
see you. Hi, where are you, by the way?
I'm at home. I'm in my room.
And where's home?
Manila,
Manila?
Philippines. Yeah.
Manila. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the afternoon, evening time from Manila. So I'm just gonna hand over to you.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could, yeah, I mean, I think it's really great that you can maybe talk a bit about your experience. What was it like? What were you worried about before coming over? Your expectations and what course you did? I forgot which course you did. And how was it?
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me. So, hi, I'm Kiara. I recently graduated as a senior, and then I took up, yes, I took up UAL's Summer Study Abroad program in Contemporary Fine Arts. So last July, and for context, I'm not an art major, so this was my first experience being in an art school as prestigious as CSM, and it was the summer of my life. Like I'll, I'll answer any questions you guys have about it, but I want to share my experience. So yeah, as I mentioned, fine arts was new to me. So even more being in another country, and it was always my dream to study abroad. But since there was the pandemic, I couldn't do it. So searched up about art schools abroad, and then I saw UAL, and it was the perfect program in the perfect city. And the course itself was so immersive. Like they really care about giving the feedback. The tutors that I had were really immersive, and they always like gave constructive criticism. And I loved the campus so much. Just being in London was so nice, especially with the good weather in summer. um, yeah, I think it was just the perfect place to be an artist. And I particularly loved how my course had random activities or planned activities throughout the 3 weeks I was there. So we had a lot of painting sessions, collaborative sessions. We had a lot of intuitive practices. So without thinking, we're like drawing the person in front of us. And yeah, my favorite part about it was being in a studio for 3 weeks with people who are interested in the same thing as me. And I learned a lot of new techniques and using unconventional materials that you can just gather anywhere from the school or just going out to an art store in the middle of the day or after class was one of my favorite experiences. Um, Another thing that I really, really loved about just being in a summer study abroad program is the people that I got to meet. So I've met such a diverse and creative set of people. I think one of the greatest things that I got from it was just having these friends from all around the world. So I really remember the first day I was there. I was like, I'm not gonna meet anyone. I'm not gonna have any friends. I was so nervous just to be there, but it did like hit me that everyone's in the same boat and everyone's like nervous to meet new friends. And so it was such a good experience. So we all actually, all of my course mates and I, were all good friends right now. And it does help that you all are interested in the same thing, which in my case was art. So yeah, I met people from all around the world, Russia, America, Taiwan, Hong Kong, all of those other places. And one thing that I really got from it was learning about other cultures, because it eventually just trickles down when you're like making art together and you ask about each other. Where are you from? Is it like this there? Is it like this here? It's just so interesting because you get to see a lot of perspectives from around the world, and like it's so irreplaceable, honestly. So yeah, the connections that I made are so important to me, to the point where like next summer we're all going to London again, like me and my close friends from the course. Even I even got to meet up with someone from Hong Kong when I was there, and she was one of my classmates from the course. So just these people, it was just such a good experience, and I'm so happy I got to make these connections. Beyond art and friendships, I think the most important thing for me was learning independence, because it was my first time living abroad alone, and I think I've never felt more fulfilled than those few months was in London. So yeah, I got to be independent. I got to find a balance of reaching out to people, also being my own person and doing things for myself, and got to step out of my comfort zone, which is the most important part. This summer literally quite made me feel like I am capable of just living in another country. So yeah, if you guys would want to like experience the perfect summer abroad, I would 100% recommend like studying abroad with UAL. Give it a shot. It was the highlight of my year. It still is the highlight of my year so far. And I have some tips for future participants. So if you're ever gonna go to UAL for this, I think one of the most important things to do is to ask questions, especially to your tutors, to your peers, because you'll learn so much by asking and getting so much constructive feedback to help you grow. Second of all is to document everything. I quite literally am just like looking at my phone and like remembering like all the good memories. It's such a good way to look back on it. And then make sure to explore the city, not just like galleries, but also you can go out of London. Me and my friends, we went to a trip every weekend. We went to Bath, Brighton, Edinburgh. So while you're a student abroad, just make the most out of it while you're there. And I know some of my other course mates went to like Paris and Italy for one weekend, which was crazy. So yeah, enjoy every minute of it. And for me, this was a once in a lifetime opportunity to grow both as an artist and individual. So if you guys are interested, I would 100% recommend it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions as well, just let me know.
Thank you, Kiara. Thank you. So you spoke so well about the experience of coming over, and hopefully we have some questions in the chat, or maybe
Mhm.
later on if we have like a opportunity to ask you some questions. But I also thought you made a good point, really. When you come over, everybody's in the same boat, right? I see, the
Yeah.
first day you're queuing up, nobody knows what's going on. It's sort of a bit nervous. It's sort of, we've got to enroll the
Yeah.
students, and then you form your friendship and everything. I did wonder. I had one question actually, thinking about it, because you study in a different subject area, right? In
Mhm.
Philippines. Like, what's your
Yes.
course that you've just graduated from?
I took up computer science.
So you're a computer science major, and you've come over
Mhm.
to do something pretty much, different, right? Like fine arts. Were you nervous about
Yeah.
that? Were you nervous about, oh, well, I'm joining art students, they're going to know a lot more than me, or you were just like, oh, I'm fine, I'm going to go straight into it? Like, how did you feel about that?
Honestly, I was nervous because everyone I'd talk to, I'm like, "What's your major?" And then they'd all be like, "Oh, I'm a fine arts student." But then found one of my closest friends there. She's an archaeology major. I'm like, "You too? We're not related to our course." So yeah, it does help because there's so much people who aren't even fine arts majors, and it's both of our first experiences like being in an art school, and it was just such a good bonding experience. I think I went into it with like, okay, I'm not being graded technically for myself because
Mm.
I wasn't part like affiliated with my school when I went into this. So I was like, you know what, I'll just have fun,
Mm.
see if I like it or not. So even though it's like a little bit daunting or scary,
Mhm.
it's just you just have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we grow more when we challenge ourselves. And you know what? When you're older, sometimes you get used to comfort and actually getting out your
Yeah.
comfort zone. And when you're younger, you have the opportunity to study abroad. Obviously, we're talking about UAL, but wherever you have the opportunity to go
Yeah.
abroad, for the people joining this session, I highly recommend it. I had that opportunity, and it was great for me too. But yeah, I was just thinking, when I talk to the tutors, for example, in interior design, I was talking recently, they said the most important thing is students come with an open mind, not that
Hmm.
they think they know everything about interior design or arts or whatever. So the fact that you've come from a different discipline, and computer science or archaeology or whatever that is, that just adds
Yeah.
ideas, diversity, different ways of doing things. I think nowadays the subjects kind of mix over a lot more, that I can
Hmm.
see on undergraduate and postgraduate levels. So yeah, from our perspective, if you have different background, don't be put off. I think tutors are here, our academics are here to support you and your growth, and I suppose get the most out of it, have fun, but also, produce work and
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
skills, etc. Cool. I think I'm aiming for like 30 minutes, keep this session nice and concise. Oh,
Okay.
and Claudia's put us back onto our presentation. So this is part 2 of the summer sessions. So Kiara, thanks so much for your input. And if you can hang about for a short while, probably spend 10 minutes just talking through these slides, and then hopefully people are going to put some stuff in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just shorten the session. So without any further ado, I will talk a little bit more about our summer courses. So this is an important bit, how to apply. So these courses are taught at undergraduate level. So they're for students, anyone over 18 wanting undergraduate level study. I suppose, anyone over 18, I mean, you get a range of ages, but I mean, most people are around 20s, I would say. Some subjects, I spoke about one before, that's called advanced fashion design. That is advanced, so it requires more experience, but mostly it's really open to students that are just interested in the subject. If you have some experience in fashion and want to look at doing the fashion design course, for instance, at St. Martin's, a 3-week one, you'll be joining other fashion students, but you'll also be joining students that are just interested in fashion and have some experience but are not fashion majors, and that gives a really interesting environment for the studio as well. So yeah, the main thing is that you come in, you're open-minded, you're keen to learn more, and that you look at the course requirements on the course website, on the page, just to understand if this is a course that requires more experience. You've got a QR code here that takes you to the apply page. And the second thing is the level of English. Many students are coming over where English is their second language, sometimes third. I mean, it's a very international crowd that you are joining. So, we teach in English. We ask the students to communicate in English, talk about their work in English. So you need to have some confidence and proficiency to write and to speak in English, in group discussions, presentations, talking with the tutors. As a guideline, we expect students to be around IELTS score of 6. That's equivalent, like B2 equivalency in terms of English. That just means that your English is good enough to be able to communicate. So we don't ask you for a certificate for the courses. We just ask you to be confident enough to talk in English. Kiara was our award winner, and we offer an award which is a tuition waiver for the summer courses, which is for the 3-week summer courses. And in order to apply to the award, you need to go online and go to Study Abroad, UAL Study Abroad Awards online, and you'll see that we ask you to make a creative piece, like a short video, where you talk about why you want to apply to the course. So if you're interested in this, just apply. That would be amazing for you to apply and then to come over on this. The award is a tuition waiver, so you won't need to pay tuition fee. We offer accommodation. UAL has accommodation in Finsbury Park. Finsbury Park is north central London. It's very well located for like public transport. So for the underground, the tube network, we say, like the subway, they say in America, the buses, etc. It's very easy to get to different parts of London. So yeah, we have this accommodation. This is what it looks like. It's like you've got an ensuite room, a desk. It's fairly straightforward. There's 24-hour security. Book early because accommodation in London is very high demand. It's super high demand. So yeah, this is another advantage, and this is why it's good that you guys have joined, this session now towards the end of November. You're giving yourself a good amount of time to organize everything. So your flights, your accommodation, your course, and there'll be a discount for study abroad offer holders. So apply to study abroad, and then there's a small discount for the accommodation. You can, of course, book accommodation anywhere in London. This will be probably slightly cheaper, better value, includes a very good breakfast apparently, and you'll be in with other students, and it's zone 2 of London, or 2 or 3, so it's considered central. So it's a good option for you to check out. So we've got more information on our website. We've got the course information. Go through, have a look. Is this course interesting for you? What about the tutors that are teaching it? What's some information about them? What's the content of the course? Dates and fees. So have a look through. The QR code takes you to those pages, but also there's more information. Housing I just mentioned, requirements for visas. If you're traveling over, do you meet our requirements for getting a visa to come over as a student visitor? So yeah, more information there. I'm just going to go through next slide. If this is interesting for you, then sign up for our latest news. This QR code is where you can sign up and learn about all things UAL study abroad. This is a big network. There's tons of stuff happening. We hope to provide interesting content for you and let you know about latest news from our side. And then these are some more opportunities to connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, website, brochures. So this is our contact page. And I'll allow a second for you to note this down. And that is our last slide. So we've got an opportunity to take questions. Not sure if we can open up the mics or not, but if you've got a question, put it into the chat. And I'm going to read the first question from Diane, and I've accepted offer and had a question for Chiara. Excellent. Did you stay at UAL accommodation or somewhere else? If you went somewhere else, do you have any tips on finding accommodation for a short-term stay? Brilliant question. I will hand over to Chiara.
Hi. I didn't stay with UAL because I had a friend who lived in the Philippines, who was from the Philippines, and she was going to Amsterdam for 3 months, and then I took over her flat. So I did a flat share. She's one of my mutuals on Instagram, so that's how it happened. But I do know a lot of people who go on friends of friends on Instagram to find flat shares there. There's also most of my friends were in Finsbury Park. So I think honestly, if I would do it again, I would stay at the student accommodation because they got to hang out every day. So yeah, I did mine over the internet with mutual friends, but then yeah, most of my friends were in Finsbury Park. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot. We've got some questions, more questions in the chat. So after the application process, how long could we expect to hear back? My colleagues from the operations team can jump in because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think how long do we expect to get back to students?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and
Yeah,
clear.
we usually try to process applications within a week, but when we are very busy with lots of some applications, it might take up to 2 weeks. But yeah, within like 2 weeks, within 1 week.
1 week. Okay, cool. And again, I mean, it is helpful to apply early for those that are on the chat. Thanks, Seyon. Question from Turkey, from Lydia. Firstly, thanks for today. Leaflets that you sent through the email don't download. All right, well, that means we need to send you ones that do download. We'll look into that afterwards with Claudia and send over leaflets. We'll make a note of that. The leaflets that we print out, so we're going to send to you as well. They are going to the printers now, but it's the same information that's online as well. There's more information online, so but yeah, certainly look into that, resend them to make sure that they do download. Thanks for flagging that issue. Third question, are there any chaperones or someone for students still in high school attending alone? No, we don't have chaperones. The courses are for over 18s only. They're aimed at university students, so students that have to be over 18. Most students are around 20s, I would say. The halls, the accommodation has 24-hour security and has like a hall manager, for instance. So there's that there, but we don't have chaperones. So unless a student wants to have a parent or a guardian with them, that's possible, but not on the course actually. The journey from Sketch House, the journey from our hall in Finsbury Park is a straightforward one on the underground. It's a direct line, and it's pretty close to get to King's Cross, where Central St Martin's is, where not all, but most of the summer 3-week courses are held. But yeah, the quick answer is no, there isn't chaperones. I'm going to go back maybe to Chiara, if she's still here, to ask a question. Hey, all right. Yeah, I've got a question. I mean, how is the food and stuff like that in London? Because I used to go to this really amazing Filipino restaurant. It doesn't exist anymore, but then there's a cafe opposite. They're super friendly. But some people some people say, they don't really like the food, or they do like the food. There's a lot of options. Like, how's your experience of that outside the course? Like, just getting food.
I did try fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Great. I tried the British food, but I still do prefer the Asian food more. But there's a lot of options. Where I stayed, I was in Islington, which is one stop away from Finsbury and one stop away from King's Cross. And there was so much food options. There's Mexican, Asian, there are Asian supermarkets as well. So it's a very diverse mix of food. It's just a bit more costly than from where I'm from, which is Asia.
Yeah.
But the quality of the food is okay. I think London gets a lot of hate for it, but you just need to find the good spots, because it's a diverse place. So there are gonna be a lot of good spots.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we don't just eat fish and chips. We got other options as well. That's great to hear.
Especially going to the market.
Yeah, and where you were in Islington, I think there's a lot of restaurants there. But each part of London has its own thing, right? So a lot of people just stick to their area, and you've got a lot of immigration all over. So there's a lot of Turkish restaurants like North London, Finsbury Park, actually, that area. We have we kind of got 2 Chinatowns actually, because there's one in nearer to Hyde Park, and then there's one in sort of Soho Chinatown, and there's a lot of Chinese restaurants all around, but not just Chinese. We've got some Filipino restaurants, some Malaysian, Asian, but yeah, I suppose you would find it more expensive generally than in your country, but you can, if you look around, find a lot of good value places as well. Okay.
Especially in China.
I can't even remember the last time I had fish and chips actually, but I'm getting hungry. So have we got any more questions in the chat? for the summer award video, is it one that involves just talking, or should it be edited? I think I'm going to bring Claudia in on this because work more closely on it, and I think normally the videos are going to be edited.
Well,
good. What do you think, Claudia?
Yeah, well, I would say, realistically speaking, because we're an arts university, we try to go for the most creative one. So I definitely think edited would win. Kiara's one, for example, she won last year. Hers was extremely well edited. It was a great video. But it always depends on how many people apply, because, like, realistically speaking, if 2 people apply, the chances are a lot higher, and it could easily be a video where someone just talks to the camera that wins. So, but for summer, I have to say we normally get a good amount of videos coming in. Like, I would say about 30-ish, 30 to sometimes even 50. So I would definitely try and like do a really cool video where you explain why you want to do the course that you want to do. So yeah, I would say that's probably the best option. So the award recipient is announced about 2 weeks after the deadline for the application. So we wait until all the applications are in. We have a deadline on the website. If you go onto the page about awards that we have, you'll see the deadline for summer. I don't exactly remember what the deadline is. I'm going to say probably around May, but now I'm not sure. And so getting in early is not necessary as long as you are within the deadline. If you're within the deadline, you're fine. People who apply after the deadline, which sometimes happen, then they don't get considered, because we do try and look into it really, like look into the videos really quickly. So I would say apply when you're ready to apply, but before the deadline.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Do your best to apply early, like with everything. Any more questions? It could be anything that you want about the courses, about coming over to London, housing, talked about food. It's a big leap to come over for summer. It's a worthwhile thing to push yourself into, as Kiara was saying, much better than me, actually just making new friends and kind of pushing yourself. And then it's a network that you have to stay in touch with other people from all around the world. So I think this brings the session to almost to a close, but we have this visa required, the standard visitor visa. It was an email, just double checking. We will be running some sessions on visa, but have a look on our website, and also colleagues can jump in if there's anything to say about the visa. But it's a visa, standard visitor visa. That's normally the case. It does depend where you're from. So have a look online, because some, if you're from some countries, then you'll need to like pre-apply. And so look through, maybe if a colleague can put the details in the chat on our visa section, and then do read through. Again, it's another reason to just organize things early. So the questionnaire is actually where you're from, and then depending where you're from, the visa situation will change. So usually the standard visitor visa. Great, thanks, Celia. So it's a case to look through this, but also if you're stuck, if you need help on application, on visa, on housing, etc., then this is our email address, studyabroad@arts.ac.uk, and our team will look at your email and best advise you. Keep a lookout for future webinars that we're going to offer around. Se-Young is going to jump in.
Just quickly talking about your visa, you will need a standard visitor visa usually, but if you have any other immigration permission in the UK, then you should just like send your copy of your visa to that email address, studyabroad@artsites.uk. Then we'll check if you can join the summer course on that visa. But usually you will need a standard visa, but it depends on, like Ashley said, like it depends on your nationality. So if you have any like questions about your visa or applications, please just send an email to us. We'll try to respond to you within 3 working days.
Thanks so much, Sayang. Question from Grace: what's the maximum number of students per course? That varies. So some courses are usually maximum 16 students, and then some courses go up to 24. So like for instance, interior design is up to 24, fashion design can go up to 24. We have a bigger studio, more tutors. The contemporary fine art practice course that Chiara did, I think it's either 16 or 18. And I think there were 2 tutors there. So yeah, classes can be, I mean, if, you know, sometimes you might have 10 students on a course, but yeah, you can expect around 16. Some of the bigger ones, interior design, graphic design, fashion design, around 24 maximum. Oh, great. And Saying's put in the chat as well. So last chance for question. Oh, we've got more questions. Thank you, Grace. Can I do placement study abroad as a master's student at CSM? Is it through Turing scheme? You can apply to study abroad. It's a fee-paying program. It's not through Turing, the Turing scheme. So I'm not sure where you're from, Carol. If you're interested in doing something through Turing, then that would be as an exchange. So if you're studying at an exchange partner with CSM, then you could look at Turing. Home student. Okay, so these programs are for any students. These are summer programs. It's coming into London, so it's studying at UAL. So if you're a CSM student, then you would be taking another course at CSM or UAL or LCF. If you're a UK student interested in summer courses, yeah, we have students from the UK and from all over the world. So I got a bit confused, but can I do a study program as a master's student at CSM? I got a little bit confused, Carol, on that question. If you apply to a master's course, generally speaking, you're going to do the whole program at UAL, CSM, because the programs are like a year and a half or a year. So, but if you're studying on a program at UAL and you're interested to do an exchange, then you have to talk to the international office. If you've got a follow-up question, I don't think I'm explaining it very well, to be honest. Already doing masters. I thought I could study somewhere else during summer. Yeah, where are you doing your masters, Carol? Sorry, it's a bit just to understand it better. So if there's people who want to come to UAL, yeah, this is for people who want to come to UAL, and you're no problem. No, it's fine. So you're studying CSM Fashion Communications Masters. If you want to go overseas somewhere else, then there are lots of programs for you. You know, you can find lots of different programs. So kind of maybe think about location where you're interested in, and then talk to the international office and see, you know, if they can recommend things. You know, you can also contact me. I'm Ashley. You can put my detail. I'll put my email in. So that's my email. Yeah, my job is welcoming and bringing students into UAL. But if you're interested in summer programs elsewhere, I can give you some recommendations. But you would be doing it independently, yeah. So, and it wouldn't be via Turing. But UAL does have some options to go overseas as well, so I can connect you. Yeah, no problem. Okay, any questions about our courses here at UAL in summer? Okay, I have a question about specific, but yeah, of course, yeah, just fire away. Ariella has a question about a specific course, which you can ask now if you like, or you can send to the study abroad email. For the art history, criticism, communication course, would I be able to bring art material with me? That is quite a specific question. And I think the answer to that is yes. They're pretty open-minded. But the course is more theory-based. I mean, it's a mixture of theory and practice. If you're more interested on like painting, for instance, then I think you should be looking at the contemporary fine art practice. This is more studio-based. So the one that you mentioned, art history, criticism, communication, is mixture of theory and practice. But the course that Chiara did, if Chiara is still online, might be more relevant to you. So this, yeah, Ariella, I think what they want you to do on the contemporary fine art practice is to be open-minded. So not, necessarily stick to one medium that you're comfortable with, but to explore different media, and it's not a traditional like painting course. It's more contemporary. I would have a look at that course. I'm just going to write it in the chat as well. Contemporary fine, can't spell, fine art practice. Yeah, have a look through there. Look through the web page, and yeah, I would suggest not to. It's kind of taught in the way that we teach fine art at UAL, which is very, very open. So some students might have an idea of this sticking to one media, but really it's an opportunity to get out of that and to be open-minded and to explore different themes, to try different things. So yes, I think the answer is you can bring your own materials. There is a materials section online, what we ask you to bring. But also my impression is that tutors want you to kind of get out of just in one media as well. Chiara's going to jump in. Basically, Chiara knows better because she's done the course than me. Yeah. So thanks.
For the contemporary fine art course, they usually provide materials anyway. So there's a like stock materials, and they do have a budget for the materials that's needed in the studio. So if you only want to bring like a specific kind of paint, you feel free to do so, because a lot of my friends, they brought their own acrylics and all that stuff. But usually the studio or the tutors will provide something that the whole class needs. Yeah.
Great, thank you. That's really helpful. Thanks a lot. So I think we're getting to the last questions. What's the acceptance rate for the study abroad? I don't have the acceptance rate, but it's very high. I mean, because we're not taking portfolios, essentially to apply, you need to go online, click apply now, upload your passport, short statement, fill out the form. So yeah, it's a very high acceptance rate. The one course that is harder to be accepted is advanced fashion design, where students need a more sort of sophisticated, sort of developed fashion portfolio. But acceptance rate is very high, so it's pretty open. I mean, the level of the students is good. We have students coming from all over the world and from like interesting places. So it's a good level of students. But yeah, the acceptance rate, which I don't have, but it's high. So you will be accepted if you just put the right documents in. And Claudia's going to jump in on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say these are all beginner-friendly courses, I would say, for at a university level. Therefore, if you are interested in a specific course, except for advanced fashion design, which, as we said, you kind of need a base in fashion design, you realistically would get accepted as long as you're over 18, know English to a level where you can understand the course, and the course is in full, I would say, probably. So yeah, I would say obviously apply as soon as possible, just in case, because of the fact that they can fill up really quickly.
Great. Thank you, Claudia. And Seyang's put in the chat as well what you'll need. We shared some of the QR codes to go to the apply section. So just submit your application with relevant supporting documents, for example, passport. As soon as you're ready, we accept applications on a rolling basis. Yeah, earlier the better. And then question for Chiara in the chat, which is for the Contemporary Fine Art Practice course, did you cover any art history or theory?
For our course, I don't think we really covered much art history. More of it was talking to different artists, contemporary fine artists, and they came in and talked about their work. But art history is a completely separate course. I did talk to a lot of art history majors, and they said it was very theoretical. It had a lot of writing, a lot of visiting museums as well. So it's a different kind of course from contemporary fine arts.
Great, thank you. And I suppose some people are kind of interested in both. You can't take both because those courses happen at the same time. So you've got the art history, I forgot what it's called now, culture and criticism, and then you've got the contemporary fine art practice. Actually, I've got a question. Did you kind of work together on the two courses at all, or it's separate courses?
We weren't able to. No, we didn't. But we got to communicate. Like people from the course would we'd have those soirees, and then we'd ask each other about the course, but no overlap between both of us.
Cool, thank you. And another question on art history, criticism, communication. Would I be able to request a space to work if I were to paint? Well, again, I think if you're interested in painting, then the other course, the one that Chiara's done, is contemporary fine art practice, would be better than the art history, criticism, communication, which has more theory based. I'm a fine arts major, so I want to evolve my understanding of art history and theory. Great. If you're interested in the content for the art history and criticism communication course, check through our website, but don't go to the course expecting to paint, because it's not a studio-based painting course. So I think you'll have to decide between doing a course which continues your practice as a fine arts major. I'm not sure where you're a major, but where you're studying fine art, but the way of studying fine art at UAL is quite different to other places from around the world. So you would benefit from doing your practice within a different context, supported by our tutors. So that's the course that Chiara's done. And as Chiara said, she came in from a different background, but other students were from fine arts. So yeah, you could either do that course, which is the practice-based course, or you could do the more theory-based course. But don't go to the theory-based course wanting to paint, because it won't support you doing there. Maybe, I think you said, request a space to work if I were to paint. No, I feel like you need to have a look through the website on the art history, criticism, communication, and then if you feel like you're happy with what that course provides, then go with that. Otherwise, go with the fine art, contemporary fine art practice course that Chiara's done. That's how I would answer that question. Thanks, Ariella. Chiara's going to jump in as well.
Just if you really want to learn art history, I think it's a much more content-based course, whereas with fine arts, you get to do it even outside of campus. So for me and my friends, we'd just go to the park and paint there, or we'd go to the Tate and then paint there or draw there. So it really depends on what you're looking for from the course, if you really want to do a studio practice, or if you really want to learn art history. And if you want to paint on the side, you can still do that, because there's a lot of free time to do your own thing. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, exactly. Actually, I saw a video where you put together and doing some painting outside. Thank you so much. I think our session lasted a bit longer than anticipated, which was good, because we had some good questions and people learned from each other when you put the questions in the chat. Oh, this is, I think, the last question then. I'm interested in graphic communication design course for first 3 weeks. Yeah, we have 2 graphic design courses. So we have one in the first session and one in the second. Is this course only practical, or does it include some theory? So another sort of practice theory-based question. It's more it's more practice based. It's taught from the way that we teach BA graphic communication design at Central St Martin's. That's the first session, and then we have a second session which is based from the London College of Communication, LCC, graphic media design. So these are the two biggest graphic design courses in the UK and the two best, and we offer like a 3-week version, session 1 and session 2. Both of those versions are very practice based. Yeah, some theory, but really it's about studio work, it's about experimenting, it's about making, it's about learning through doing. So yeah, and at the end of the course you show your work. So there's a small exhibition where you get to show your work. So I would say it's more practice. It's more practice in theory. Yeah. I don't know how much theory content, but you know, it's not like lecture-based course. You're in the studio as a graphic design student with our professors. Yeah. Again, look to the website. Last question. Okay, this is the last question. And just so I'm responding to that, CSM graphic design requires 1 year BA experience. Yeah, so you'll need to. Thank you, Soyoung. Yeah, you'll need to have some experience in graphic design. It means you're joining other students where you've kind of got a grounding in graphic design, and that helps the course kind of move along a bit quicker. So yeah, and then the LCC course doesn't require previous experience. So you've got two options, different dates, different courses, yeah, within graphic design. But both courses are big, and you know, I loved seeing the work. It was really cool to see the work from graphic design on both sessions. Yeah, so I think they're really good options for coming over and kind of being a graphic design student at, you know, within LCC or within Central Minds. Last question is from Grace. Still need previous? Oh no, sorry, that has been answered. Great. And then Gloria, I'm studying graphic design in University of Milan, so I have a look bit. Yeah, that's great. So I think, Gloria, you actually have both options. I think for Italian students, it might fit better in your schedule to come over for session 2, which is the latter part of July, because I know in Italy quite a few students have exams kind of the first part of July. But in any case, you have two options. Yeah, with your experience, you could look to CSM graphic design. Yeah, and you'd come in, you'd be in a group of about 20 students, or you could look to do the second option, which is taught from LCC. I mean, both courses get really good feedback. Yeah, and you could come and do the second course as well. So maybe just have a look at the webpage and see what works best for you. You could do either. Yeah, you could join a course with your experience, first session, or do the second session. Both are interesting projects that students are doing. All right, I thought it's a bit longer, but that was a really good session. Thanks again, Chiara. Welcome back. You know, next summer in London. Come by, come to our shows. Very welcome anytime to visit the colleges. Yeah, thanks again, and thanks to everybody, my colleagues and everybody that's joined the session for today. We can share the recording if that's useful for you.